Welcome to One Oar Boat.
Welcome back to One Oar Boat, Season 1, Episode 2, under our new name. I'm here today with Glenn, my co-host, and Michael Wayne Jaco, singer-songwriter out of Central Mississippi. He's live from his studio. I just want to jump right on into this. And Michael Wayne, if you could, just tell me 2 or 3 bands that people will recognize and you sound like, or maybe they inspire you, and a little bit about yourself and what you're doing, man.
So I've been listening to a lot. I've been taking a lot of inspiration with these latest songs, and from Zach Bryan and Eric Church, and some Jason Isbell in there along the way. I'm, like you said, I'm from Central Mississippi. I've just started writing and playing about a year ago, and so that's pretty much that's pretty me. I'm pretty simple.
I listened to basically a demo of your album last night, and you're a storyteller. I really, I saw you on TikTok. I've seen you on IG, and I never really. I was like, what is he doing? There's so many covers, so acoustic. And then I hear your album, and I just sit down for an hour, and man, you're like a 65-year-old man who had like an alcohol problem and lost his wife. And I'm like, dude, where do you get this from, man?
Crippling depression.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just really impressed. I don't know a lot of people who write songs like that today. I think back, to the real old outlaw country, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash's wife, who I can't think of her name. Those people wrote songs. Dolly Parton writes songs, and I it's so crazy to think that there's this young kid who's in his 20s that's in Central Mississippi writing songs on that caliber.
I don't know that I would compare myself to that, but
I'm just saying, I was not expecting it.
I'm glad you liked it. And that's the goal, is to tell stories and to help people that are having problems, and just, that's what I look for. And when I write a song, I want it to mean something, and so that it can somewhere along the way help somebody through whatever problem they're going through.
How many people do you know that have, that are either right now on active duty or have retired from the military?
A very significant amount of people.
Yeah, dude. I had heard the term dress greens and Arlington in like 4 of your songs.
Yes, sir.
Dude, what's that about?
So a lot of that, so in one of the songs, Dress Greens, that actually is in reference to, that's the one you'd be talking about, is Dark Skies and Rain. And that one was written about my uncle's funeral, who he had military honors at his funeral. And that one, just one day I was just sitting there and it came to me, and I think I wrote that song in 5 minutes. And it was, the best way I can put it is what the reactions I get from that song are. Once you've been to a military funeral like that, you never forget it. And that's what it was to me. I was thinking about him one day, and then I started thinking about his funeral, and in less than 5 minutes, that song was finished. And Arlington came from, I work with a veterans charity project, writing songs about veterans, true stories of things they've been through and that sort of thing. That's
pretty cool, man. Maybe if I get buried in Arlington, you can write me a song. Now, you talked about you're working with a veterans charity, and I'm not a big name dropper. I don't want to incriminate any of your cohorts in crime. But I know that you've been out of state recording at a handful of studios, including Nashville. What do you think the state of music is right now, man, for people who are obviously coming up from their bedroom on Instagram, TikTok, and then somehow ending up in Nashville? What do you got to say about that?
I think it's a very strange time for music, because the internet makes things so accessible, but it also makes it to where there's so many people doing it that you don't get noticed until you do get noticed. And when you do, like Zach Bryan, I don't know if you might be familiar with him, but he was actually in the Navy, and he was recording his songs and posting the TikTok for the sheer entertainment of it. And then now he because of his music career, he actually was able to get out early from the Navy, and he's one of the biggest acts in the world right now.
That's crazy. They don't want you to make any money in the military. You know that
Yeah,
if you end up with $1 million in your pocket, you're getting out.
yeah. And that's what happened. Is he was making so much money that they just
Yeah, they say, hey, you can go home now.
Becomes a threat.
Oh yeah, for real. So you've been up to Nashville, you've been out to North Carolina, you've played some shows. I know you played a big motorcycle rally in I guess in the Charlotte region. Um, the project right now is an album. Um, Tell me about how to find your project. If people are interested, where can they find your information right now?
pretty much anywhere under Michael Wayne Jaco. Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you just put in Michael Wayne Jaco and you'll find me.
That's awesome. And dude, it's so neat. This was a hard interview to get started and to get you on. I'm so glad that you came, and I'm glad we got to talk a little bit about your music. But now let's talk about when you're not playing music, what are you listening to on Spotify right now?
So that's weird. That's like that. I literally go from listening to like one of my major influences, Zach Bryan, Eric Church, to Slipknot and Stone Sour. Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I listen to a huge Kurt Cobain fan. Love
Oh my gosh.
Nirvana.
Did either of you see the Sky Mustang that went up for auction for
Yeah,
it started like at $2 million?
yeah.
I did not see this, but I
Dude,
too have been listening to a lot of Slipknot.
oh my gosh, Slipknot. I can't even talk about Slipknot. It's so far out of my realm.
Slipknot is it's a happy place, man. There's something
Yeah.
really peaceful and serene about the energy that they bring.
Peaceful and serene.
I mean it, man. It puts me in a really nice place mentally, when I hear them it sounds like, gosh, it's hard to put to words, but yeah, it doesn't really stress me out. So
I can't hear it. I just can't hear it. I love the guitars. And, I remember I saw Sepultura at Ozfest one time, and I was like, I don't know these people. And so I got right down on the edge of the pit where I could be right in front of them, and their percussion. They had so many drummers on stage at one point. It was like beating into my chest and my face, and I was instantly a fan. So I can only imagine being at a Slipknot concert.
Slipknot's one of those bands that you have to immerse yourself in to really understand it. There's no tiptoeing in or trying the water. You have to cannonball into it and then submerge yourself in it. And so yeah,
Oh my gosh.
What,
So can I tell you an off-brand story now?
Sure.
So over the weekend we had a bunch of kids at the house, and there's one of these kids is really into music, and every time they come over, they're wearing a band shirt, a Grateful Dead shirt, a Eagles shirt. They're always like, "Hey, have you heard this song by this band?" I'm like, "I grew up with that band. What are you talking about?" And it come to find out, they have an older brother that who's like significantly older than them, who's just feeding them really good classic rock, and
That's how it
so they
should
come
be.
to me. What's that?
That's how it should be.
Oh, it
Like, you should
totally
have-
should be.
You should have people teaching you shit about music. It's
Yeah.
great.
And so ICP came up, and I was like, how is this 16-year-old kid, down with ICP? And I was like, well, if you get an ICP tattoo, you can go to all their concerts for free. And they're like, really? And my wife is like, no.
You show that at McDonald's, you get a free small French fry.
and so later in the afternoon, this kid came by and he goes, do you really get to go to their concerts for free? And I was like, yeah, if it's 1990, you can go, because that's when their concerts were.
Yeah. It's got to be a face tattoo. It's
Oh my
more
gosh.
of a religion than a band, though,
It really is. And the fact that, even my wife, who is, a Whitney Houston, Taylor Swift kind of person, knows who ICP is.
Well,
It's funny.
Michael, do you listen to any Waylon Jennings?
I love the songs, but if I'm being honest, I don't like the older style of music. Like his song Outlaw Shit. As far as the story and the song, absolutely amazing. But when you listen to the way they recorded it back then, they did in that old like up tempo stuff style, and I'm like, this song's not an up tempo song. This song should have been slower the way a lot of people play it nowadays.
It's like they were trying to paint the picture of the cowboy sitting up straight in the saddle with the white hat, and
Yeah,
but that wasn't the lyrics. Yeah, I feel that.
yeah. And it's like the lyrics are, yeah, we just got done doing some hard narcotics. The FBI kicked in the door, but we're wearing our white cowboy hat.
Yep.
I think they were fighting against the exact thing that the Beatles were fighting against at the end of the 60s into the 70s, is that sound studios that were owned by huge corporations still wanted you in a suit and tie. And they still wanted, even though there was, Ashbury Height was, changing the way music was being made on the West Coast. And, you had the Grateful Dead and all those bands living on a road together in the middle of San Francisco or whatever. And they still wanted bands in New York and on the East Coast to be the Beatles. Show up, do a top 40 hit, and look clean cut. And that just was not them, dude. They called them outlaws for a reason.
Yep.
Well, Michael, I was listening to some of your stuff last night, the road so far. I closed my eyes and it felt like we were in an old rundown shack on the edge of the swamp, and there was a guitar over in the corner, and that had been there for years, and you picked it up and just started speaking through it. And I've always said less is more, but there's all this other music out there where it's just so busy, and man, your stuff is just to the point and simple and clean, where it's your voice and a guitar and it's bare and you have no choice but to convey some strong emotion with that. Dude, I loved it. And I don't know which was more powerful, your voice or the guitar, because they both speak pretty strong.
Thank you. Yeah, that's and that was actually you. I know you made the make the point about telling the story, but that was actually all I could do. When I recorded that, I was sitting on this very couch, and all I had was a guitar and one microphone.
Well, it's the proof is in the pudding, and I'm hoping for great things for you, man. The music pulls you in. It's not for. I don't think it's music for the masses. I think there's going to be this niche group of people who are into that kind of music, and I think someone's going to pick you up and do something with it. They have to.
I think that niche group is actually pretty huge, though.
Oh, and, yeah. I'm not saying it's a small group. I mean, there's a niche group that still follows the Beach Boys. So, there's organizations of people. I shouldn't say organizations, groups of people, maybe. I don't know.
Well, the thing I like the most is that your songs are not so specific that they're not relatable. I mean, there's the one early off, the Bourbon in the Bible. Man, there's so many people that can relate to that firsthand, where it's like you got these two forces that kind of oppose each other, but yeah, you end up sliding somewhere right in the middle, and you can identify with both. The one there at the end, Don't Cry for Me, man, that one's heavy. And I mean, the whole album's heavy. And
well, that's what I said. He sounds like this older dude that, he's been through it. And the fact that, what are you, 22, 23?
27.
Oh, dude, I had no idea. But still
going on 72.
Going on 72. I mean, I just want to see you in a club on a stool, playing, and I can't wait. I can't wait till you do your first tour.
That's goals. I have a lot of connections out in Texas right now, and I'm working on hoping to head out that way and play all through Texas this hopefully this next year or
I think that's where you're going to find your people.
I think so too, because that's where this is. like you said a minute ago, I'm very aware that I am a niche artist. Like I don't ever expect to make it on radio. I don't expect to have top 40 hits or anything like that. But where the people that listen to what I write, it's for them.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely enough content there and enough emotion and enough skill that you should be able to pay the bills. And if not much, much more, it's very respectable work.
Thank you. Very much
Dude,
appreciated.
Do we have any last minute things? I think we're at the end.
I really enjoy the AI generated speed limit 25 sign on the album cover.
Dude, haters are gonna hate.
Yeah, it's AI generated.
Yeah.
The dog is too.
I bet the dog is like a clip art.
AI dog. Yeah. He has 5 legs.
Oh my God. Thank you both for being here. My co-host Glenn Sparks
Wait,
out of Nashville,
CJ,
Tennessee.
before you go, what's up with this shirt? You can't wear El Lobo without explaining yourself.
El Lobo. I have a really good friend, his family friend. His name is Jesse. He was the lead singer, guitar player for Color Revolt.
Color Revolt.
Dude, totally. So actually this morning I woke up with them on my mind and went in and played at full volume Blood in Your Mouth in the middle of my living room at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And no one was happy but me. But dude, what a great band. And El Obo is his alter ego. So he has a solo project, and you can find it on the internet, Spotify, Instagram, etc. Dude, you should check it out. The dude is a singer-songwriter, guitar player. Nothing like Michael Wayne, complete opposite spectrum. But
dogs come for you too.
Oh my gosh. Wait.
I love that.
Dude, okay.
That's awesome.
We're gonna go over time here today, but I'm gonna tell you, when I first heard of Color Revolt, I did not know it was Jess. And back in the day of having not iPhones, but the iPods, I remember being on a military installation and I had 12, 13 people work for me, and Glenn worked across the hallway from me. And he comes in and goes, "What are you listening to?" And I showed him and I let him listen to it. And he goes, "Oh, dude, my girlfriend has that on her iPod." And I turned around because this girl worked for me and I went, "Show me." And turns out like 7 of the kids who worked for me all knew who this band was. Music is the smallest world in the whole world.
And I didn't know anything about them either. I knew of them and I knew their sound. I barely knew their name. Didn't know anything about them as a band.
Dude, I went to watch them in San Diego. They opened up for either the Breeders or Four Non Blondes, but I think it was the Breeders. I might be wrong. And that was a punk rock show. I couldn't believe it. I was like, they opened up the show. They said, "We graduated school yesterday in Oxford, Mississippi. We drove all the way here for this show." And then they just, then blam, it was on. It was a great show.
That's crazy.
Yes.
They're powerhouse, man.
Dude.
Graduated yesterday and drove here. That's hilarious.
Yes. They are really good. And I will tell you, they are the textbook story of being good enough to be picked up by a major label, being good enough to play with all the big names in the business. I just watched a video of them this morning where they played live at the Ardent Studio in Memphis, and they have a huge, basically, TV radio show that's on all the time, and used to be, and failing. And because the powers that be just aren't into you.
Yeah.
And it sucks, man. And then, people get married and have kids and get jobs. And then when another opportunity comes along, there's no one there for that. Dude, thank you guys for being here today.
Yeah, man.
Glenn, thank you for making time for us and being my co-host and doing helping with the production.
Always good to see you, man. And Michael, it's really good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Michael Wayne, thank you so much for carving out some time. Thank you for letting us jump into your studio with you. And thank you for showing us your album yesterday. I really appreciate you being on. And, maybe 6 months from now, we can do it again.
We'll have to talk. We'll have to talk to his agent and fit in a slot.
I hope that's the answer. Dude, you guys be good. And we're going to close out.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Take it easy.
Thank you, guys.
Before we go, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already, so you won't miss any future adventures. And if you found some value in what we shared today, please consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Feedback means the world to us, and it helps others discover the show too. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us on social media or through our website. Thank you.